Lemon the bug, and the athlete frog from Amsterdam. One sunny morning, Lemon was lazily lying beside his doghouse, warming his little tummy in the sunshine. Clementine sat on the fence watching a butterfly. Suddenly they heard a strange sound coming down the road. Ring, ring! Lemon jumped up. What was that? And then around the corner appeared a frog on a bicycle. He wore a tiny sports helmet, a bright yellow vest, and tiny little glasses. Good afternoon, the frog croaked cheerfully. I'm Frederik van de Swamp from Amsterdam. Lemon blinked. Frogs ride bicycles? In Amsterdam, everybody rides bicycles. Clementine narrowed her eyes. Even frogs? Especially frogs. Frederik was very proud of himself. Hanging from his bicycle were medals, a little flag, a bouquet of tulips, and even a tiny fly-shaped bike bell. I am a professional athlete, Frederik announced. Champion of swamp cycling. Champion of what? Swamp cycling. Is that where you ride through puddles without falling over? Lemon asked. Exactly. It turned out that Frederik traveled around the world searching for the best places for jumping and cycling. And I absolutely love training, he said proudly. Then suddenly he did a bicycle flip over a puddle. Splosh! And landed directly in the mud. Silence. Clementine coughed politely. Is that also part of the sport? Frederik climbed out of the mud and proudly nodded. Yes, it's called a soft landing. Lemon was amazed. Can you teach me how to ride a bike? Of course. 5 minutes later, Lemon sat on a tiny bicycle, a very tiny bicycle, way too tiny. I think this is frog-sized. Nonsense, Frederik said. Just fold your ears back. The first lesson did not go very well. Lemon rode for exactly 3 seconds. Then, and slowly tipped over into a hay pile. Clementine laughed so hard she nearly fell off the fence. You look like a potato on wheels. That was a professional sports maneuver, Lemon said seriously from the haystack. Then Frederik showed them his greatest trick. He sped up, jumped, flew across a tiny stream, and landed perfectly on a lily pad. Lemon's mouth dropped open. Wow! Even Clementine looked impressed. Okay, that was actually cool. Frederik bowed dramatically. Thank you. I have trained my entire life. That evening they sat beside the pond eating water plant salad. Well, the frog ate it. Lemon only sniffed it politely. You know, Lemon said, I never thought I would meet a bicycle-riding frog from Amsterdam. The world is a very strange place, Clementine said wisely. Frederik rang his little bell. And a very slippery one. Sometimes the most interesting friends arrive on a bicycle from another country. The end.